let me extend belated Mother's Day greetings to you for
Th-
sure.
Thank you, and I
How did
wish
you
you the
spend
same.
it?
It was quiet. I just attended church service at Fort Jacques with Archbishop Malze, and then I went to Fondue for lunch. So it was quiet.
That's nice for
Yeah.
sure. Again, it's always a pleasure to invite you on such short notice, and you embrace as much as not declining, despite how busy you are. It's very appreciative on my behalf and the team as well too for always facilitating. I was excited sitting at the stadium and witnessing for the very first time the sanitary workers actually displaying, their talent. The relay was what really spoke to me. I was really happy when I saw persons actually participating, no matter the shape and sizes. And I'm saying, Cabrina, you cannot even run, and look at that. So I think that was a great initiative. Kudos to you for putting that together for sure. Since you're here, maybe you can speak to us about it. And I'm hoping that it's down as a calendar of events from the Safre Council. I'm hoping so as well too.
Okay, thank you once again for inviting me to the studio. I appreciate the opportunity, and it gives us an opportunity to share with the public as well. And with this initiative, actually, it was the office staff and the workers who came up with the idea, and I embraced it and ran with it in terms of the planning. They're very, very excited. They have asked for it to be a calendar activity, and so we're hoping to do it every year around the Easter time, maybe the Easter holiday. Really and truly, as you rightly said, the relay, we had persons of all shapes and sizes running. That they really enjoyed every other activity that there was, and it was a very good effort for camaraderie among the sanitation ambassadors. That's how we are asked to call them. And they really liked it, and the public as well enjoyed it. Those who came in, they had a good laugh. So we had a lot of fun. So much so that the canneries sanitation workers asked why didn't we invite them. But we think it's something that we want to keep within ourselves, just for the camaraderie. Maybe on a national level, maybe they can have it for other constituency, but then we want to just leave it at a local level. So it was a very good activity.
It was. I fully agree with you. If anything else, there's always a SWOT analysis. What do you think could have been done better? And in moving forward, what can you include in terms of the various activities?
Okay, so one of the shortcomings was we did not invite stakeholders, and some of them were disappointed. Well, I'm thankful that you came, and it was a little disorganized to some extent since it was our first time, but in all, it went well. A late start. Again, we were waiting for the police in terms of being upfront with us because the workers, initially we had said we would just move from the bus terminal to the stadium, but the workers were very excited and they wanted the town to see them, so we decided to march through the town. I also want to take that opportunity to thank Giovanni Moses and the musicians who came with him, and there was a young drummer as well who provided the accompaniment as we went marching around the streets.
Extending a heartfelt thank you to your sponsors. Can
Oh
you?
yes.
You mind doing so?
Well, we had a number of them, and again, some of them just a token, but I did not bring the list with me, and it's remiss of me this time again. But off the bat, I can thank um, Yasha Chubiskoy for providing the workers and the staff with T-shirts, Ladera, Aquinas from Barron's Drive, Kashina's Bar. I know I will miss out a lot of persons because I didn't come with the list, but a number of persons, as small as or as little as it was, they contributed towards making that day what it was. And I really want to thank the general public for their support in any of the activities that are initiated by the council. Truly thankful.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hippolyte. Could you, in the past, we've seen a community of Sufre, and I can fairly say island-wide, having some water interruption, water issues, or shortages, if we can label it as that. And I know you were trying your best efforts, having dialogues with the said company, and as far as getting persons to fill out some questionnaires. can you present us with an update?
Okay, now I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but some persons have a very micro perspective of what the council does, and they think it's only about sanitation, garbage, and cleanliness, but we have the whole of Soufrière at heart, and one of the things we are very passionate about is providing them with the services that we can provide them. Now, we cannot provide them with water. We rely on WASCO to provide them with water, and so we are very concerned when persons mention to the council that they're having issues with water. And so I embarked on a survey, which I did a telephone survey, and persons meet me in different forum and mention to me that they're having difficulties. More so that area of new development phase 1 from the Ruby Bridge, or the bridge just up from here down to this area in Wingsville. This is the area that is affected most.
Let me say a whole week something.
Yes, yes, and believe you me, at a meeting that I had yesterday with personnel from WASCO, which comprised mainly of persons from the Southern Division, I don't think anybody from Soufrière was present because I didn't hear anybody's voice. It was a virtual meeting and I didn't see anybody from Soufrière. And I'm being told that there's only one report from Soufrière within the last month about. Yeah, I know. And like I said to the lady, apparently the Soufrière people and residents are so fed up of reporting to the company and nothing is being done, so they've literally given up. And it was a very fruitful meeting, but I sensed that they were ready for the meeting, and so everything that I suggested, there was a kind of negative rebuttal. But generally, I outlined a number of things that I think can be done. I even identified some new sites that they can tap water from. And again, every time I highlighted one area, they would give me a negative response. For example, the Bouton supply is coming from Belvedere and Canaries to the tanks at Bouton. This tank sometimes, or most of the times, is overflowing, so you find there are persons who truck water from there. I have no problem with persons trucking water from Bouton to areas in Soufrière, because even if it's the hotels, our people from Soufrière work at the hotels. We need the tourism industry. The tourists need to be comfortable. And so I suggested that they supply Colobet and Palmis with water from Bouton. And the immediate response was, oh, it's too costly. It would be too costly to, pipe down the water. I said, it's just through gravitational force. And I know the Honorable Emma Hippolyte is looking into that, and rest assured, Colobet and the upper part of Palmis can rely on that water supply at some point in time. Then I mentioned Ravinclair, and the next, oh, but it's a river going through a community residential. I said, really? Well, I know of the Ravinclair source from the top at Derash going across to Zeno. I know about the Zeno Trail because I've done all my homework. I've done all my research. And they didn't say anything thereafter. Then I mentioned another source at Zeno, and they said, oh, but it will affect a tourist attraction. I said, again, I have no problem with a tourist attraction. That tourist attraction provides work for the vendors who sell there and the persons who serve. But can't we have a win-win situation where you tap that water and the overflow feeds the attraction? Because, I mean, it's not that much of a spectacle, or the tourists have seen larger falls where they come from. Even Dominica is laughing at us when we talk about the waterfalls we have in St. Lucia. And they left it at that. But I'm saying, why deprive residents of water for just one tourist attraction? I'm not saying we shouldn't have that tourist attraction. I am very happy that we are able to, have some economic activity there, and, persons benefit from it. But why deprive, some residents of water? Then I also mentioned the Zeno North intake, and they said, okay, this is the best option. I also mentioned Deville and Delset to provide water for the Jalousie area. But you won't believe that I'm being told, when I suggested that water is being trucked out of Soufrière, they said, no. 3 persons came in to speak one time because that was their focus, and said, actually, water is being trucked into Soufrière from Micoud, Piton flow. I didn't query, but I know this is unbelievable. I cannot understand how on Soufrière lacks water so much
Everybody say the same thing.
that water is being trucked into Soufrière from Micoud. But nonetheless, a number of points were raised, and I quite understand why we may be lacking water. One of them is that we are quickly growing as a tourist community with Airbnbs. Persons have, have swimming pools. They said that the capacity occupancy at all the hotels 100%. So I understand that there is a greater need for water, and with all the Airbnbs, and I'm saying we have some car washes that use the Wasco water. So I understand that there may be reasons why we have a shortage. But the diamond intake, I'm being told, is the one that affects this area the most. So I don't understand why the inflow is so reduced when we had water, or rain, sorry, from January to March of this year. We have not had a drought.
That's what I
The
know.
Met Office says that we don't have a drought. The lady from Castries, I can't quite remember her name, said there's no drought. So I don't understand why we are suffering with a water shortage.
But sometimes I come for an hour and then the rest, I'm gone for the rest for like another 6 days,
Mhm.
another 4 days.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I'm saying,
Because I said to them, like, they're supposed to upgrade the water system. That's what I told one person working for Wasco. And most of them just be on the van. I told them, you guys need to upgrade your water system. Let your supervisor or whoever that's hired, you all should know that. You can't leave somebody for a whole week. You understand? I had to query.
yes, well, we get a lot of complaints. Like I said, we're not into water, but we get the complaints, and hence I felt, well, I need
That's
to
a good
take it.
forum
Yes,
to bring up
yes,
because
yes.
sometimes one person like me will like, yes, you what smaller, but one person like you speak on behalf of us.
Yes, yes.
You know?
And that's what we are about. The council is
You
about
know?
Soufriérians in every sense of the word. Every sense of the word. Just 2 weeks ago, I was in another little friction for chairs for Soufrière Comprehensive School, and thankfully, I made my voice heard. And when we were being told that, oh, well, the school will have to go on alternate days right at the beginning of school, eventually we were able to get 90 sets of new desks and chairs. So the school is able to be, on normal day-to-day
Function, yeah.
basis. Yes,
Give thanks
yes.
to that, for sure. In terms of the water situation, like you made mention, you using this platform. I am grateful for that. I would love to know, well, it's beyond our control, but at least let persons know that there will be an interruption, so at least they can prepare themselves in proper storage of water. Sometimes the said period, it's not always the case. Water will be interrupted sometimes from a Wednesday into maybe the Thursday morning early, or even the Wednesday morning to the Wednesday evening, and that's not always the case sometimes. So I think proper information needs to be disseminated so persons can actually prepare to have proper storage, especially when it's a large family you're dealing with.
Yes, and I know that I was given the authority to send an announcement to 88.5, and I did follow it, but the announcement that was given is definitely not being followed. So I don't know if it was just a decoy, but I have left it at that. And I just want the public to know that the numbers that they can call, not for the Soufrière office, but rather for the Vieux-Fort office, which claim that they only got one report for the past month. And I know this is not the situation because a lot of persons are suffering because of the no water situation. So some of the numbers they can call are 482-0051. This is the easiest one to remember. 482-0051, 482-0085, 482-0037. So these are some of the numbers that I was given at that meeting yesterday. It was an hour-long meeting, but I must say I was satisfied with the information that I was able to share with them, whether they knew about it or not, but I was happy that I was given that hearing by the members of the Southern Division. And again, the numbers 482-0051, 0037 or 0085. All of them start off with 482. Also, the one of the ladies also mentioned that this is the worst she has seen it yet in terms of um, water shortage and the demands. Yet in the same breath, she's saying that they have only had one complaint from Soufriere. So again, it wasn't really sounding right. So I just left it at that because I know better.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Hippolyte, and for all your efforts as well.
I just want to mention one of the things that we can do is rainwater harvesting as much as possible. Now that we've seen the rains have started, you can do your water collection, rainwater. I grew up at Diamond Soufriere, and that's all I knew, and I'm still alive, so it didn't kill me, although nowadays there are more viruses in the air. But rainwater harvesting is one of the ways to go for other uses at home, domestic uses like flushing the toilet, washing dishes, and stuff like that. Yep.
Thank you. I've observed a neatness, if I were to say, to the town. Kudos to you. I know you've been in dialogue with the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority in terms of proper disposal of garbage, and your efforts were not in vain. Not sure what continues to happen, but I would love for that very same path, that very same vein to be continued, because Soufriere represents not just a touristic town, but it's also one of the best destinations you can think of, with everything captured: the food, the people, the waterfalls, everything it represents. So the first impression is always the last impression.
Yeah, yes. Well, kudos to the sanitation ambassadors, as I call them. They really do a good job in the middle of town, although we get complaints, and I know new development is a larger area, and it's bushier. There are more plants and trees and grass to deal with. But I must applaud the sanitation workers. They really take pride in their work, and they do it very well. Recently, we installed some debris traps at the entrance, or well, at the entrance of those main drains that end up in the sea. And after the heavy rains on Friday the 29th of April, it really proved that these traps were useful for the amount of garbage, bottles, and plastics that they collected. The one near the special ed school, between the special ed school and the Palmis Road, literally fell because of the amount of garbage that got trapped behind it and the force of the water. So I want to implore to the people of the Palmis area whose garbage went down in that trap. This was cleaned on the Wednesday for the royal visit, on that same Wednesday, the 27th, and the rains came on the 29th. And the amount of garbage that was trapped there is unbelievable, and it literally threw down that trap, which was embedded in the wall. So we will have to use some other means of reinforcing it, sorry. We now have one individual clearing the debris trap by the main jetty and the smaller boardwalk, as well as Harmony Bar and all along the waterfront at Barron's Drive. And we have been getting very good reviews about that young man. His name is T. John. Most persons in Soufriere know T. John.
Yeah, this morning I
But
did that.
yeah, he's doing a remarkable job, and I'm saying that the traps really helped. And the reason why this idea came to mind was on the day that the tide gauge was being launched. I was sitting on the jetty along with all the other invited guests, and there was a heavy downpour. And then all of a sudden, you just saw the sea afloat with bottles, and
True.
the idea came to mind, and I think it's really helping. But I want to appeal to the people of Upper Church Street and that area that feed the ravine that goes down to the Harmony Bar area to desist from throwing garbage in that drain, because it is really, really too much garbage going down there and into the sea. Well, we have the trap now, but then when it's raining heavily, we may have to lift the trap because of the amount of debris that's coming down, which may cause a flood in people's homes in that said area. So I want to appeal to the people of Upper Church Street and all other housing areas, Market Road, Lenny's Hill, that are close to that ravine, to desist from throwing garbage there, to desist from throwing solid waste material, because we had 2 truckloads of material that are not considered solid waste that had to be trucked to the landfill last month. We have had to hire a truck to do that separate because Sado does not take it. So I don't want to make it seem like we in Soufrière generate the most garbage, but I think we in Soufrière, we're trying our best to, keep the environment clean, and so we kind of stack it up in one area, and the garbage collectors do not take construction material in the bulky waste. So but I think now it will get less because we have done that aspect of it. So people along that ravine that leads to the Harmony Bar area, try to keep the garbage and the debris away from the ravine. Yeah.
Without interruption, speaking to disposal, could you let us know in terms of the bulky waste and the specific date that this happens, if it's still continuing? I think it was every last Wednesday.
No. It's actually every second Wednesday, so it's actually today.
Every second
today.
Wednesday.
Yes. So residents, what you are asked to do, if you have any household bulky waste, so this includes things like old refrigerators, stoves, washing machines, beds, chairs, stuff like that is considered bulky waste. Now, for the month of December, we literally had the dumpers come down, and they did a remarkable job as well. So you inform the garbage collector that I will have stuff next Wednesday when the second Wednesday comes. So you actually inform them so they know where to pass to collect it. Or you can put it out from the Monday before the Wednesday, so when they're going around, they can see that there is bulky waste to be collected, and they will collect it. We are also embarking on a derelict vehicle campaign where we have gone around, and I have identified some of the owners, and we have given them a letter, informing them that we will be trying to take these vehicles away, but they need to scrap it to take all the parts that they need from it, and they just have to pay a small fee of about $50. Yeah, so some of them we cannot get the owners, but we would prefer that person's own up, and $50 for, once you have more than one vehicle, each vehicle $50, and we will try to get it out because it's an eyesore, and as well it takes up space on the road that traffic needs to maneuver through. So this is what our next project is all about.
Not meaning to hit you on the head, I continue to see the fishermen still encountering some problems sometimes in terms of going around the town circuit, which of course to me they were prohibited from such that they have to go to the complex to actually for the sale of the fish products and whatnot, but you continue to see the presence of that around the town.
Well, I feel for the fishermen in the sense that, and I'll say it again, I feel that the fisheries complex or the fisheries department is not providing for them. They need a place to sell the fish. There is the fisheries complex, but if you were to visit the fisheries complex, it's in a deplorable state. And so they try to come as close as possible to the market vendors and where most persons, circulate to sell the fish. You hear from various quarters that persons will go to where the fish is if they want the fish. But I know that I love fish, but if the fishermen were to come up new development, I would quicker buy fish right away when they come, rather than Joan walking or driving to the fisheries and you're not sure if there's going to be fish. So when they stand by the roadside, especially close to the dump, which is a big problem for us, we do not want them to be there, but they insist on being in that area. I was trying to get them out by the 1st of December, but I got some resistance, which I don't care to share on air. But we will try to do something for them. What I'm thinking of is a shed closer to the back by the bulliard, closer to the vendors, where they can be. We now have a bigger problem where we have vendors coming all the way from Vieux-Fort. They have a bus, well, a transport, they have their scale, they have their table, and they've set up right there in the corner. And personally, the council does not subscribe to that. We do not support it. We do not condone it. But I got some, a little resistance from higher authority, and so I'm allowing time to pass before we really get the fishermen out of that area. So sooner rather than later, we will get them in a comfortable place. And I also give them the option where if they are able to tell us what fish they have on a daily basis, maybe we can even, ask 88.5 to make an advertisement occasionally, maybe first thing in the morning, at midday, and in the afternoon, so and so fish, how many dollars a pound. Or they can have a tongue crier go around with their horn, saying it, with a bullhorn, saying what fish they have. Because the important thing is to get them to sell their produce after they have gone out there and try to get a catch.
Okay, and speaking to that as well, I think it would be of some significance, not just being fishermen and going all around the town, because for example, sometimes I may want to purchase fish, but in the condition they're back or bare legs, they're not presentable, and it turns you away for sure. So I think they should at least have some form of uniform or something, in terms of, okay, just a shirt with a logo printed, Fishermen's Cooperative or the fisheries, give themselves a nice name, the fisheries.
Yes, to
The
upgrade
fishy,
the
the
standard.
fishy fish or some, I don't know, something to that extent to make it more attractive for sure,
Yes,
because you
yes.
are what you represent and
Yes.
stuff. And me wanting to buy fish not from somebody who's uncombed and bare back and bare feet and all those different things turn you off for sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the fisheries complex hear that, because again,
And
we
don't
can,
come
we
for
can-
me, but that's what I'm seeing for sure.
Yes, definitely. So I'm saying that these are some of the things that I think the fisheries department should be doing for the fishermen, because they are hard workers. They go out there and spend hours trying to get
Which
the
is
catch.
true.
Yes, and then
I like to use the word fishers because
Give
they're
them
serious.
a
yeah,
nice
the
little
women too.
uniform,
Yes,
you know.
fishers.
Give them
yeah,
something
thank you very
nice.
much. Yeah,
Give
fishers.
them nice wheelbarrows, give them a nice shirt or something, at least the plastic shoes,
The jarry.
the crocs or
Yes, yes.
something, nice. If you need to seek sponsors to make it happen sometimes for them, persons would be more than willing to come on board to support such a venture for the community and for the love of people. You shared with me you were working on a project at Zeno. Can you share more with the listening audience?
Okay, so I am so thankful that we are finally getting down to the last set of training sessions for the Zenoderas Trail. There are a group of persons from Zeno who have come together to be part of the Zeno Development Committee. I must admit that there was an original Zeno Development Committee, but then it was dormant for a number of years. And so in my visits to Zeno during elections campaign, I will admit, I met with a set of persons, and I suggested to them one of the ways that they can encourage economic activity in Zeno is to develop the Zenoderas Trail, where you would have visitors, whether local or foreigners, walking the trail, either from Derash down to Zeno or from Zeno to Derash. The Zeno to Derash is a lot easier because it's downhill. And what would happen is persons would eventually come to the Zeno community where they would have a community experience, maybe persons selling their barbecue chicken, their bakes, their bread nut, the local fruits, fruit juices, herbal medicines, spice baskets and stuff like that. Even the tourists who visit the Torile waterfall, they can always come there. There's a restaurant there as well, Joan's restaurant and by the Big Stone. And I help them to realize that there is a potential in developing that trail. And so we were able to get some assistance from Mr. Finister in terms of starting the whole training session, and they're just getting ready in terms of writing up a project proposal to get funding for that.
Barry Finisterre?
Pardon?
Barry Finisterre?
No, Felix Finister.
Felix Finisterre.
Yes. So, what it would mean for Zeno is that, and the Zeno community, not about me, I'm just trying to assist them. Some persons seem to think, well, why Joan Hippolyte? But I was just trying to get them off the ground. And they have had two small activities. Just recently, they had an egg hunt, and I'm thankful to the sponsors who sponsored. Well, these I can say offhand was Toral Waterfall, Tyree's Garage, Rubis, Thomas Hippolyte, Emma Hippolyte as well. These are the persons who helped to fund that egg hunt, and it was again to kind of bring the community together, because there seemed to be a big divide, political divide, and this is not what it's all about. We just want the community to benefit, so everybody will be part of this Zeno Development Committee and the development of the trail, because everybody can benefit from that. So there would be, you know, development of the trail itself, maybe have an area where they can have bird watching. If somebody wants to set up a herbal garden, you know, things of that sort, a lookout point, because you can have beautiful views of the Piton, of the town, and so on. So that's what it's all about.
You're going to turn some heads because Force-Jean has its development committee, and now Zeno is looking to have a committee. So Freudians will say, but Miss Joan, where is our Sofre development committee as well? So, you know.
Well, we have a new development committee which I started, but since I became the mayor, I told them, well, I would just be an ex officio member, because I don't want to be too involved, let them take charge. And so there are plans for new development. We will be soon be having our park at new development, and naming of the streets or the roads at new development. So they are well on their way. So I'm hoping that
I would love to bring them in for dialogue.
yes, yes, yes.
Thank you so much. With that being said, any other talking points you may have, feel free to discuss it with us.
Well, I just want again the general public to know that the Soufrière Font Saint-Jacques Constituency Council is not just about keeping the community clean. It is all about Soufriérians and everything to do with Soufrière, the health of the residents, education, you know, sports, cleanliness, everything to do with Soufrière, because the Bill of Authorities, which is a document that is, you know, being finalized, it speaks to the role of the mayor and the council in any constituency. And so it is not just about garbage, or when persons want to say, oh, Mrs. Hippolyte, you're keeping noise. I hear you keeping a lot of noise. That's to do with the water. It's not about keeping noise, it's just about trying to ensure that the residents are comfortable. And I despise hearing, oh, we're a touristic destination, so we have to do this. No, we're not doing it for the tourists, we're doing it for ourselves, first and foremost. We're keeping Soufrière clean for Soufriérians, so when visitors come, whether foreigners or locals from other parts of St. Lucia, they will see Soufrière is clean. If there is water in the community, it's water for residents as well as for the tourists, you know? So it's about us, putting us first.
Sure.
Mayoress Hippolyte, what would you like to leave with us in terms of the level of loitering we see sometimes around our beautiful town? You can speak to that, and even with the vagrants as well. So I wish there is somewhere that can be, you know, established that they could go to, as much as the soup kitchen offers a hot meal, but then they cannot house them, and then it's painstaking to see them lying on the concrete, the church step, and on the other businesses.
Yes, well, I'm sure Miss Honorable Hippolyte has spoken to that as well, and the SRDF, and it is close to us and to me, and I'm hoping that the church would look into it as well, because we have quite a few indigents or homeless persons walking around. Some of them are not well, some of them have, you know, bad feet and stuff like that. So we need a place where they can be. Now, different persons have different mindsets towards that. They seem to think that we're trying to put them in a jail. It's not about putting them in a jail. It's not about putting them away from the community, but giving them a proper place to sleep, where they can be taken care of in terms of grooming, getting a shower, change of
True.
clothes, those who need to get their hair cut and, you know, their feet are cleaned and their nails, and to allow them some time maybe to go, you know, walk around if you have to go and walk around. But we need a place. Even Miss Eldry from Courts had said if we could have a place, if we had a place, they would help to refurbish that place where those persons, those homeless persons, could stay. Again, if we have a place, apart from the soup kitchen which provides them with the main meal of the day, then we would be able to get sponsors to provide them with breakfast and maybe dinner and other snacks for the day, rather than the just one meal. And sometimes they feel, well, they need to have a different meal, so other than the soup kitchen, they sometimes go around begging persons, you know, for something else. Sometimes they feel like drinking a soft drink rather than just the juice, which is something that most persons, you know, want a different taste, a different something. So our biggest problem there is getting a building. And once we can get a building.
So what if somebody asks you, what's about the old girls' school? What if you guys actually rehabilitate that or, you know, organize that?
Well, this is a prime spot in the middle of town. I'm not saying that the indigents or the homeless cannot be in a prime spot, but this is church property and I will not go there.
Oh.
It's church property. So, but like I said, I'm sure there are areas where if we can get a building constructed, this would be top on the agenda for a
I still wish you could have split St. Dominic Salvio Boys School into two. You know?
Yeah. It's true. Well, the girls' school, it's prime spot, like I said. They may say it's too close to the priest, too close to the nuns, so we might look for somewhere else. But there are other places, as long as we can get a sponsor for a building.
Because the reason why I mentioned it, they still can't say too close because that's where they come and eat every day.
But they just take and go.
The
They're not
eating and
actually
living
there.
is
Yeah.
totally different as
And
well.
as you mentioned, this building is an eyesore, and it is also a hazard for the people who are going in and out because it's actually falling apart. And I'm hoping that some
Dilapidated.
thing can be done so that we can, or the church and or groups that are concerned can do something about it.
Perhaps we should have an outreach, you know, for sure.
Yes.
Anything you want to add on based on a post I came across, our stray animals?
Well, we don't really have many stray animals. The post that was done with this poor dog was as a result of motorcyclists going up and down. The
Too many
new
bikes in
development
Suffolk.
road is like a highway, and you can ask any resident of new development on that particular road and they will tell you it's really an issue. We have motorcyclists going up and down from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's like a highway. If you're sitting there, you're having a telephone conversation, you can hardly hear yourself because it's up and down, especially the dirt bikes. It's really noisy. And so that particular incident was a young man who hit a dog and he fell off his bike. The dog was injured and fell into the drain from the accident, and he literally slammed a block on that dog in the drain, compounding the injuries. And that dog moaned and cried and whined the entire Thursday night. The neighbors, even myself, couldn't sleep because it was persistent. And the following day, the heavy rains, the dog was in the drain and it was drowning, and a lady helped it out of the drain because again it was crying and moaning. And it lay there the whole Friday into Friday night. And when I again heard it all Friday night, I said, this cannot go on. We tried to get a vet to see if they could euthanize it or put it to sleep, and we were told it would cost $375
Wow.
from Castries, yes. And persons were thinking of putting monies together to see if we could put the poor dog to sleep. But thankfully, when I called Yasha, who was actually out of the state at the time, he was able to get his personnel from Health Force, which is his wife's veterinary, to come, and within 15 minutes they were there and helped and assisted the dog and took it to the vet. But unfortunately, because it had so many internal injuries, internal bleeding, and injuries to the paw, multiple broken places, and the next available date for X-ray would be today. That's the 11th, and that happened since
Wow.
2 weeks ago. They had to put it to
So
sleep.
today's the anniversary. More or
Well,
less.
no, that would have been the date that they would get the X-ray done. So they had to put it to sleep. So
Okay, but then again, I think maybe what can I say? An appeal need to be maybe put on the persons with the motorcycles, especially pay attention to just animals on the whole, for sure.
misfortunately, it was an animal and not a child, because it's very, very risky, and I don't know
Wow.
what the
We have too many
Police.
motorcycles in Sofra, to an extent.
let's not go there.
Mm.
Yes. So again, I really want to thank you for this opportunity to share with the Super residents, and I'm hoping that we can continue to work together. I must say that they are very cooperative in terms of assisting. Some persons have actually come out and said to me they want to do a cleanup campaign in their area, and when can we arrange it? When can we organize it? That's the lady from Palmis, and then there was another lady who asked for a beach. Then there's somebody else who asked for a river cleanup campaign. So, the interest is growing. So we're hoping that we can make Sufra beautiful in one way or another.
I think those things are necessary, and also if I can inject, have a walk as well, to keeping persons informed, keeping persons active. A lot of the times there is common with heart attack, cardiovascular diseases and all those things. So the council can arrange to have a fun walk, and
Yes.
as we get ready to observe Lupus Day, and even mental health and
Oh,
stuff.
big thing
So
right now, I want to-
yes, so
Yeah.
I think it is fitting that a fun walk can
Yes,
be,
they have
organized
mentioned
and
that
stuff.
we just have not set a date, and we were also
Then
thinking.
you can collaborate with Sofa FM to have
Yes,
that for
yes.
sure.
And we were also thinking of an open air country and western dance at the stadium, but we've seen the numbers are rising again, so we're not
It
sure
is.
whether we will be given the okay to go ahead with that.
Yeah, we're headed into the sixth wave as much as possible. And even what I'm noticing, I mean, the place is very free up, you ask me, to an extent, and we have laid back in terms of the protocols and
Mhm,
stuff. So
mhm.
I think we need now to be more vigilant more than ever, protecting ourselves, our loved ones, getting, our vaccines to persons who have not been vaccinated as well. Continue to wear your mask where necessary, and just be vigilant.
Yes,
For
yes,
sure.
yes.
Anything else in closing, miss?
Yeah, well, in closing, I just want to thank you all again for this opportunity and to encourage Suferians and visitors to, get rid of the garbage and the litter, in a better way. And, well, we know that we do not have bins around the town, so some people get rid of their litter indiscriminately.
Hey,
And the
guys.
very bottles.
I know
Yeah.
somebody want to make a contribution without cutting you short. Let's take it in this call. Hi, you're live. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
You're live on
Hello
air.
there. Hello.
Hi, hello. Talk to me. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Doctor.
We can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
There is a young fella you drop off Warden side. He said he forget a white bag behind the driver's seat. Check to see if you'll see it on your bus for him, please.
All right.
Somebody.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. She will. She will, sorry. All right. Yeah, boy. Sometimes when you be good Samaritan, boy, persons do forget stuff. Okay? So, yes. So, guys, concludes the show. That was it in final.
You want to extend a good day greeting to your
Oh, yes.
ambassadors,
Yes,
your
yes, yes, definitely.
counselors, etc.
Yes, well, I don't know if they will be listening anyway because they're supposed to be out there working, but yeah, I want to,
Via cellular phone.
yes, I want to thank our sanitation ambassadors for the work that they're doing. I want to applaud them for their camaraderie, the way they come together, the way they work together, and to continue doing what they're doing and doing it at their best, and to be, real ambassadors because they're in uniform and sometimes they are the first that the visitors would meet and may ask a question about directions and stuff like that. We intend to do a little more for them in terms of having sessions with them, maybe do stuff like budgeting, how to budget better or wisely, although the salary is not that big, but these are some of the areas that we want to assist them in. So in terms of their health, like you rightly said, we have a fun walk, but we have not dated it. And we're hoping that we will continue to serve Soufrière better.
Thank you so much. Likewise, when those various events unfold, I trust you send me everything nicely so the public can be made aware. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you grace us here with your presence as always, and I'm looking forward to the partnership as we move forward to making Soufrière beautiful. My moderator, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you guys.
Yes,
Mhm.
all right.
Do you have some old appliances at home? Are you thinking of throwing them away?